this is how far I got now. Everything is sanded and I think it's time to start painting. There were a few problems. I can't get any plug in this wall. I tried, but it doesn't work. Well, chemical plugs would work, but so I have put some brackets, and this doesn't go anywhere. So that's what you got to do when, you know, come up with solutions when something doesn't work. This wall is like 3 centimeters of plaster, which is like lime plaster, so a plug doesn't hold. And behind that is just a stacked wall, so it's just a matter of luck to find a stone which actually holds a plug. Because sometimes it's granite and you can't get in there with a drill, and sometimes it's just really soft lay stone, so plug comes out. So this is a good solution. It's really strong. It worked out well with the stuff from the hollow doors. Just needs a bit of, you know, sanding and a little bit of, you know, filling. But I think this is okay. It's not completely like real good, like exactly straight, but it's level and the size is okay. So that's what we're going to do. Now I need to paint it, but painting means getting paint that's already available. And I found some paint in my stock here that is made, that stuff comes from when we bought the place here. It was here in the shed, and it's all kinds. It's got black, it's got green, red, yellow, all kinds of colors. Well, all the rainbow colors, in fact. So I think I'm going to paint that cabinet with the spray paint by doing all the internal parts, and then later on take a roller and use the same color as I got on the beams as the front. And I think I'll start with yellow in that corner, and then red, and then finally getting into blue on this side. And maybe we can color code the lids of the jars too, because they're all brown, light brown or yellow. So maybe we can, you know, give them a color too. So like blue for screws and nuts and bolts, and then maybe brown for just the sawdust that I save up to make pastes, fitting paste, you know. And I've got sawdust and all kinds of colors. All that kind of stuff goes in here, hinges and what more. But all these jars are outside in big shopping bags. The good thing about using jars like this is that they, well, they're watertight, so I can store them outside when I need to. So, for now, welcome back in the Not Just Sawdust workshop, which finally is going to look like a workshop. And let's get on with some painting. First a bit of sanding. go well. The experiment failed with the spray cans. Half of them didn't work, so there was no pressure in anymore. Because these are used, I changed the little spray heads, but didn't work either. So I started to put some on, like yellow and red and blue, but that just didn't work. So I didn't like it the way it looked. So I took this grey paint that was left from the kitchen, and it's like an emulsion, thicker paint, and that worked out really fine to get this done. I put some stuff in it for now, just to show how it will look and how these jars will stand in here. So 232, I think, will fit in here, but I'm gonna fill it up now with all kinds of other stuff, because it's I'm gonna put the big cabinet over here again. Then I have to cut plates for my new workbench, and then finally we can, well, finish some things here. But this cabinet is finished, and I think it's a success. So the legs that are under, I ordered at Amazon. They're, you know, kitchen cabinet legs. They were 15 euros for 20. I used 4 sheets of the OSB, the crappy OSB, which is about 13, so that's 52 euros. So together that's 67. And then leftover paint and, oh, some glue. But so let's say this whole thing is made for 75 euros. So I imagine that's yeah, it's quite cheap. But that's what you get when you recycle stuff. So for now, that's it. I'm happy with my wall. I'm leaving all the jars outside and fill this up with all the little stuff that lays around here, so I can make some room, cut the 7 sheets or 6 sheets of OSB that's going to be on top of the workbench, because yes, I'm going to make the workbench partly out of this OSB too, because that's what I've got, that's what I have to use. And when that's done, I don't need the floor room anymore to cut these big sheets, so I can start moving things around and get them in their final place. So for now, like always, do some woodworking. It's a nice way to spend your time. Do some recycling. It's an even better way to spend your time. And see you all in the next video. Uit de logo.